Hello and welcome. Let's learn how to bake whole wheat dinner rolls. Here are the ingredients you'll need if you want to follow along. In a small saucepan, you want to heat together 3/4 of a cup of milk, 180 milliliters, and 2 tablespoons of butter, 28 grams. You want to heat this over a medium-low heat and keep it stirring so it doesn't burn. You want to heat this until the butter is just melted. You don't want to get this too hot. If you have a thermometer, you want to get it to 105 degrees Fahrenheit or about 40 degrees Celsius. It should look like this. The butter should just be almost completely melted, and then you're going to turn off your heat. Then you're going to add in your yeast. Once I turn off the heat, I'm going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of yeast, 5.25 grams, and this is instant dry yeast. I'm going to mix it until it just starts to dissolve and set it aside. In a large bowl, I have flour. I have 2 cups of whole wheat flour. That's 300 grams. Now, if you like, you could mix and match the whole wheat flour with some white flour. That's up to you. Next, you want to add in 2 tablespoons of sugar, 25 grams, and then some salt, 1/2 teaspoon of salt or 2.5 grams. You can add more salt if you like, but I found if you add too much salt, it delays the rising of the yeast. Now we're going to crack in 1 egg, 1 large egg, 50 grams. And then we're going to get that milk mixture from earlier and pour that in. Again, you don't want this any hotter than 105 degrees Fahrenheit. If you get it too hot, you will kill off the yeast. By warming the milk, you are basically speeding up the process. Then using the back of a spoon, I like to mix it together until it just starts to form a shaggy dough. Now, if you like, you can make this in a stand mixer. You would just dump in all the ingredients at once and mix it until it's nice and smooth and stretches easily without tearing. It takes about 8 to 12 minutes depending on your mixer. But we're going to mix this by hand, so we're going to put it onto a clean work surface after we get the shaggy dough, and we're just going to start kneading it. It's going to take around 10 minutes, maybe a little bit less or a little bit more, depending on how skilled you are at this. At first, it will tear really easily and it will be a really sticky dough. Just keep working with it, and around the 5-minute mark, it will start to absorb all that flour and become a much softer dough and easier to work with. You know it's ready when you can stretch it easily like this and it doesn't tear quite easily. So just shape it into a little bowl. It will still stick to the counter. That's normal. You want it to be a little bit sticky because it will help rise the bread and keep it really nice and soft and smooth. It will be tacky when you push onto it, and if you hold on to it too long, it will stick to your hands. That is normal. Go ahead and put it into a bowl, cover it, and let it rise 1 to 2 hours or until it doubles in size. The timing is different for everybody because temperature does play a factor. And here is a tip. If you use that spoon, you can use it to help scrape off all that dough that got stuck to your counter, and it just helps remove it easier when you go to clean it up. And I take all these dough bits and I put it back into the bowl. It has been 2 hours for me and it has risen nicely, and I'm going to scrape it out onto the surface and take my time and really scrape out all the little bits. Then using a scale, I'm going to divide the dough equally into 12 pieces. To roll the dough, you flatten it out and then you pull the edges in toward the center like this. Once you get it into a rough ball shape, take all the edges and place them down onto the countertop, and then use the palm of your hand and roll it around until you get a nice ball shape. All the seams should now be tucked in nicely on the bottom. I like to bake these in a 9 by 13 casserole dish, which is about 3 quarts or 23 by 33 centimeters. And I spray the bottom with nonstick spray, but you can use oil or butter, or you can use a baking sheet. Just make sure you use one that is sprayed if it's not nonstick. Repeat these steps until you have them all rolled up and into your tray. Then you want to cover these and let them rise until they are double in size. It takes anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, but it could take longer depending on how cold your kitchen is. The warmer your kitchen is, the quicker it will rise. Patience is the key when it comes to working with whole wheat dough. If you're using 100% whole wheat like I am here, you want to really give it time to rise. On the last 15 minutes, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. The rolls should look like this when they are ready. Remove the plastic wrap, and then you are going to bake these for 20 to 25 minutes or until they're golden brown. Now, if you start to see that they're turning darker than you would like, just cover them with a tint of aluminum foil. However, I really like the dark color that the whole wheat looks like, so I don't tint them and they will have this really nice golden brown like this. But if you don't want them to get this golden brown, just cover them with some aluminum foil. Let them sit in the pan for 5 to 10 minutes to cool slightly and then remove them to a wire rack to finish cooling. You can also serve these while they are still warm. Let's look inside one of these and see what it looks like. It is soft and tender. You wouldn't even know this was whole wheat just by the taste of it. It is a very beautiful roll to share. And if you're not a fan of whole wheat, but you want to get more whole wheat in your diet, just start adding a little bit of whole wheat at a time, and eventually you can go to 100%. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy baking.